Now, whenever I get on my GS1100E, it's like a trip to Jurassic Park. And it's very hard for me to believe that after 40 years, I've had the bike. It's a one owner. I've had it 40 years and maintained it. It's got 75,000 miles on it. Maybe a little more than 75 by the end of this day. I've got 2 sets of bodywork for it. It's a true evil twin. I've got 2 bikes, in fact. I've got one, a spare bike. It is a Jurassic Park. It is, and in my estimation, this is the T-Rex of these old air-cooled superbikes. Today the weatherman says it's going to be 97 degrees by lunchtime. And in fact, we're looking at 4 or 5 days in a row of really all in the 90s. Mid-90s, maybe high 90s, who knows. On a day like today, there's only one way I deal with it that's fun for me. Get up early, get out on the road early, and get back early. Take care of the farm before you go, and have some lemonade when you get back. And we're going to do that today. But as always happens, the bike we want to ride is always in the back. I've got to move things around. I got to play parking lot attendant. And the main thing is I got to take care of the farm before we go. So between being a parking lot attendant and having to pre-flight the bike and Karen making me an extra cup of coffee, we got everything ready. But we do have the farm chores to take care of and the fish and everything. And I do try to get up early enough that I can get all these things done and still be out on the road before the heat of the day. Well, you know, the problem is sometimes this works out to perfection and sometimes it doesn't. Because sometimes really early in the morning like this, we hit an unusual amount of traffic on the way out to the riding area. And that's what happened today is I ran into just a bottleneck of traffic. And, well, we're really getting out there in the middle of rush hour. That's the problem that we have to face. But anyway, still worth it. I want to ride a clean bike and take care of the farm. Well, let's see what's in the harvest today. Oh my God, look at what we got over here. Oh my God, we got Zucchini-Zilla here. Look at these. You got another one. Wow, that is Zucchini-Zilla. Today's harvest includes peppers, some unusual looking cucumbers, mutant cucumbers, and a giant zucchini. Holy, what is that, a baseball?
I don't know what it is.
What is it?
It came on a cucumber plant.
It's a cucumber. We're harvesting stuff we don't even know what it is. This is a really big harvest today. Look at the size of this zucchini. You could hit somebody on the head with that. Karen and I really do enjoy doing our little harvest every morning, and every morning it's just a little bit different than the day before, and some days it gets some extra stuff that we didn't plan on. We always have fresh flowers for the table whenever we want, and sometimes we get extra stuff for the neighbors, and they appreciate it, of course. And we have our beloved zinnias, and thank you, Nanda Navola, for getting us started. All of these zinnias came from an original plant that Nanda Navola gave us many years ago. And we got one that hasn't even bloomed yet, sitting on a table. It's going to be fun. All right, guys, time to ride your classic Superbike GS1100, or E. Oh, you want to? Okay. E. And if you forget to feed the birds, you know what happens. We know. We're going to poop on your car. One final check of the weather. It is 0 precip and going to the mid-90s in about 2.5 hours. Now, when you have a motorcycle from the day it's brand new and you have it for 40 years, I guess it's safe to say you have a good marriage or a good relationship. And I have had just the best of relationships you could want with this motorcycle. back in the Jurassic time, he was one of the T-Rexes, and I mean the T-Rex of air-cooled motorcycles, along with the Zs and the CBXs. This was a wonderful era. If you were interested in motorcycling, they were coming out with new stuff every year, and the bikes were just very, very exciting. Now, some really good news. Joe Padula, who borrowed my spare set of GS carburetors to try to resolve an issue he had with his GS, which is an identical bike to this, he reported back to me yesterday that it looks like that has solved the problem, and I guess it's only a matter of time. We're going to be able to get together with the two of them, and they are twins. They are, well, too bad Aaron doesn't still have his, and we'd have triplets. Now this bike has 1640 overdrive gearing so that I can get that 30-mile stint on Route 80 out of the way without putting any unnecessary strain on the engine. But it is nice at higher speeds that you're in a lower RPM, and it cuts back the acceleration just slightly, but not enough that it would even be noticeable. Joe Padula's GS is pretty similar to this, except he's been in storage for a long time, has very, very low mileage, and he had a couple of teething issues he worked on, and I'm glad those carburetors worked out. And Joe was the one donated the steel brake lines that are on this bike, and thank you, Pokey, for the EBC disc. Now Dallas, who has an 83 GS, just put a set of Avons on his bike, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how that worked out. I've been real happy with the Michelin Commanders. I think Joe has Avons on his bike too, and it looks like we've got some nice new fresh tires for a while. Now, not long ago, Joe rode this bike as a test ride to see if there was anything he wanted to ideas for his, and he commented, and of course he's a professional road racer, so he commented the front end felt a little soft, but I guess that's personal. I don't know. And one of the really nice features of this bike is the air suspension, the air forks that you can dial up and dial in. And I think maybe the next time I ride the bike, I'll put a few more pounds of air in the front. And I can't wait that we get a day where we can ride each other's bikes. I like to see how he has his setup. Now, back in Jurassic Park, these bikes from the early 80s, one of the primary things was you could see the engine. You could see these air-cooled engines, and polishing them up and cleaning them up was one of the beauties of the bike. And on a really hot day, I don't want to have a windshield or a fairing or anything blocking the wind. I want to be right out in the wind. Sometimes you really do feel like you're sitting in front of a giant hairdryer, though. And this day was really starting to heat up. And as the ride went on, I was looking for some shady roads and to get up into the lake area where the lakes are. It just seems like a little bit cooler, but even a little bit. Once it gets into the 90s, like it's really funny. There's really no place to hide. You think you're hiding, but you're really not. Now, I was happy just to get in the shade and get out of the sun for a few minutes. I don't know what my tolerance for heat is, but it seems like every year that I get older, I'm less and less tolerant of the really, really hot days, and this was one of them. And over the last winter, when I painted the wheels and I put brand new tires on, Michelin Commanders, and I got the discs from Pokey, EBC discs, and the steel brake lines from Joe Padula, I am so glad once those brake pads bedded in, and it took a while for them to bed in. They are bedded in now, and those brakes have really been an improvement. Now, I was hoping I'd catch, this is a lake that has a lot of lilies in it. I wanted to see if any were open. Nah, not really. But there are times I've been through here, and the lake is so beautiful. Every lily is open, and I guess you gotta catch it when they're open. Now, both Karen and I have been all over. I think we've been in almost every state and some of the southern states and out west. And I don't think there's a much nicer place to ride, except when it's 90 degrees like today, 90 plus. But there's just some beautiful roads. I really appreciate living in this area. Now, a lot of people have already gotten used to the idea of paying almost 3 times the price for gas, but I haven't. And every time I pull in for gas with this bike, this is almost a 5-gallon, it is a 5-gallon tank. I think I'm filling up a car or a boat or something. And on a long day like this, that seat just couldn't be more comfortable. That is really a good seat. Actually, several of the bikes in my collection have really exceptionally good seats, and this is one of them. And as the hours go by, you start to really appreciate it very quickly. Now, I think in all of the motorcycles I've ever really ridden, this has one of the nicest, sweetest, most friendly power bands. You can take it down to almost to an idle, and it never shakes or shudders. Great power band. And to me, of course, it's all in the eye of the beholder, but I just think the styling on the bike, the styling is just really, really nice, and it's a classic look. It's never going to go out of style. I just love the styling of the bike. And I have to wonder if 40 years from now, the bikes that are very popular right now, the styling of the modern sport bikes, if that's going to be in style or if it's going to be bell bottoms, I don't know. But I know this bike will still be in style. Well, it's time to get back to the cucumber factory, but it's been a wonderful day. And thank you to everybody that sends in the memories they have of their GSs or their friends' GSs. I think it's just a wonderful memory that I have, and I've got 40 years of memories with this bike. I got home early. It's really getting hot. Man, it was hot. I'm cooking. I need iced tea. Okay. Iced tea coming up. Well, needless to say, it is in the mid-90s right now. It is really, really hot. I'm glad I got back early. Anyway, it was a nice, always a good ride. This bike, over 75,000 now, and just looks like it's going to go on forever. I wish I was like that, but I'm not. Anyway, I hope you did enjoy sharing this little piece of our life with us. Well, I've had a lot of really nice memories of motorcycling over my lifetime, and a lot of them come from this bike, some from the RD, and I do love my MT-09, and of course I love the R1. Bikes that I've had since they're new, they were a special place in the collection. But the problem is I love them all, and I have a passion for all of these motorcycles. And the fact that every day I go to ride, I get the feeling I'm on a different bike, a new bike, something I haven't ridden yet. I've got evil twin parts to keep me busy all winter. I modify them, make them suit my needs. And what's really special about it is I can share this all very conveniently with all my friends and subscribers on YouTube. And thank you guys one and all for supporting the channel. I really do appreciate it, and there's a lot of cool stuff coming very soon. And thanks so much for watching.